20 million people were taken from Africa in chains, and in many cases, there were no records of who they were, where they came from, and where they were going. Almost 400,000 Africans were brought directly into the United States to become enslaved Negroes. Not just African Americans, but several ethnic groups have an African ancestor, whether they know it or they choose to admit it. When Roots first aired in the 70s, the ministries inspired so many people to trace their roots. Many attempted to follow Alex Haley's lead by breaking down those brick walls in hopes they could find their ancestors' village in Africa. But when they failed, many concluded that their search began and ended with slavery. Now, DNA may be the best and the only way to retrieve the answers that you're seeking. Companies are now selling DNA-based genealogy kits that claim to pinpoint exactly where your ancestor originated. In my 5 years of DNA experience, it has allowed me to trace individual lineages back to the 19th, 18th, and 17th centuries. It has provided answers that I could not get on a paper trail. That even though I could not find a bill of sale or a deed or a slave auction notice or even a will or an estate file, the DNA told me who bought my ancestor. The DNA told me where my ancestor was sold to. The DNA told me the route in which my ancestor went. The DNA allowed me to identify my foreparent on a 1700 slave record. Not because I found them on my own, but because my DNA matched to a distant cousin's DNA who found their foreparent on the same schedule, the same record. The DNA can lead to undiscovered paper trails that will explain your ancestors' journey in slavery, who bought them, where they went, how they got there. It may even lead you to a picture of them. But it's so much more than that. DNA has allowed me to help adoptees find their biological families, their relatives. I've been able to locate long-lost siblings that were separated at birth. It has allowed me to find relatives to help other families put closure to their family history. But more importantly, it has allowed me to seek those answers. Have all of those questions answered about my foreparents. So in other words, people, genetic DNA works. Just like Ancestry says, discoveries lead to other discoveries. The very answers right now that you are seeking about your family may be in your DNA. Or if they're not in your DNA, they may be in a distant cousin's DNA. That very individual might be doing the same research that you're doing, and you are the missing piece to their puzzle. So don't give up. Don't give up before you've even started your search. Why? Because genetic genealogy works.